Hello and welcome from wherever or whenever you might be listening to us. You have landed on the Guambai Podcast. Guambai Podcast brought to you by the Dildo Brewing Company and Museum. Dildo Brewing Company and Museum located in beautiful downtown Dildo, home of the beautiful Dildo sign erected by Jimmy Kimmel himself, sister city to Hollywood, California, home to Eyes to Buy PA and Dildo Lager, a place that if you haven't visited yet, you should. We are here to bring you trivia. My name is Kevin George, and I'm coming to you from London, Ontario.
And I'm Kevin's other brother, Darryl, and I'm here in Whiteway, Newfoundland, Labrador.
Ah, the homeland. Darryl, good to be back together again. I think we're picking up where we left off, aren't we?
We are going to pick up where we left off. We had a lot of questions on politicians last time.
Oh, God, I felt like I was going to be a member of Parliament before it was all over.
Our intention was to do politicians and performers all into one. Given the number of questions we had, we decided to take that off and put it into its own episode all by itself. So
we must have a crackerjack research department, do you, or what?
It's huge.
Yeah,
huge.
That's amazing. The amount of stuff.
Hundreds of people researching.
It's like,
yeah. So we got lots of great questions on performers.
Speaking of performers, Darryl, how about that intro music?
Absolutely awesome. Big thank you to Damien Follett for doing the intro music for us. Damien generously put that together. We were at the beginning, we wanted to come up with something for our podcast. We're having a little bit of trouble originally, and Damien stepped right in, very generously did that for us, did an awesome job with the intro music. I saw Damien a couple of times at the Dildo Brewery, actually, Kevin. Great singer, great songwriter as well.
Yeah, I just downloaded his newest single.
Yeah, what's the name of the new single?
One Human Race, I think it's called.
No, he's got some great songs that he's written and performed over the years. Do you know where Damien is from?
Ooh, there's a good question. Trivia starts immediately. Boy, you don't even get, I got whiplash.
That right on you there.
Is he from Fairyland?
No.
No.
I'll give you one more guess. I can give you a little hint, I suppose.
Yeah, give me a hint.
It's a town known for a bridge.
Ooh, Petty Harbor?
Does Petty Harbor have a bridge?
It does. In fact, all the Catholics used to live on one side of the bridge and all the Anglicans lived on the other side of the bridge.
Oh, true. I think Alan Doyle might have spent some time on that bridge.
That's right. He writes about it in his book. So that's where I got it. So
no, it's a drawbridge that this town is known for.
Okay.
Placentia. Placentia, yeah. Okay. Damien is from Placentia.
Much bigger bridge than the one. I've been on the bridge in Petty Harbor. Very small bridge.
Compared to the drawbridge in Placentia.
Oh, yeah,
yes, indeed. It's a huge bridge. Beautiful bridge. Damien, if you check out Damien's bio, you'd see that there were 3 classic rock and roll artists that were big influences on his life and on his music and made him kind of want to be a performer. Any chance of you knowing at least one of those 3?
I believe Bruce Springsteen has to be one of them because I've heard him sing Bruce's music.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Number 1, I would say, probably.
Yep.
The other 2 are Tom Petty and Bob Seger. So that's a
all right. That's
pretty good 3 classic rockers there for sure. Yeah. So a little Damien Follett trivia for you. Damien is, I know, he's got some new endeavors on the go right now, and I think he's got a new album coming out, and so check it out, everyone. And thank you again to Damien for helping us out on the podcast here.
That's right, folks. Go to Spotify or iTunes and look up Damien Follett. You'll find the music. Download it, buy it. You won't be disappointed.
So you ready? I kind of got you warmed up already. Usually we do a little warm up with a Newfoundland word, but I
got friggin' whiplash. Now I think I pulled a muscle.
Once we start a tradition, we got to keep it going.
Well, so that's right. So let's hear it.
I'm gonna give you a Newfoundland word. You see if you can come up with what it means.
Some lame answer of what it means.
This one's gonna be a bit tough, I think. We'll give it a try. And the word is cookaloo.
Cookaloo.
Cookaloo or kookaloo. Cookaloo.
Is it a bird?
Well, it's a bird in some places. It's not in Newfoundland.
A cookaloo is like a mollusk. It's like a mussel.
Yeah, it is. But that's not how Newfoundlanders use that particular word. Or the cockle shell, I think you're referring to, is it?
Yeah, like cockles and mussels.
What's it shaped like? Or what does it look like?
Darryl, I'm going to have to say, I just don't know.
Boy, cookaloo is the word referring to the ear.
The ear.
The ear.
All right.
It possibly derived from the cockle shell, which looks like an ear.
Oh, well, see, I was onto it when I was talking about the cockles and mussels. I never heard that in our house. Nobody said they were going to box my cockaloos. Box your ears.
Well, at least you're warmed up now. Anyway,
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. So we're going to get to these performers then.
We are indeed. So for performers, might as well start at the beginning, like we did with the politicians, hey?
Yes, come on. Bring it at the beginning.
We'll go right back to the beginning. The very first performers in Newfoundland, Labrador, who would they have been?
The first performers in Newfoundland and Labrador would have been Beothics, probably.
Yeah, so they would have been the First Nations or Inuit peoples of the province. And going back before the Beothics, actually, to the earlier peoples that inhabited the island even before the Beothics were here and so on. Yeah. One of the first pieces of evidence of Indigenous musical history was discovered in a place called Lance Amour in southern Labrador. So what they discovered was a musical instrument that dated back to 7,500 years ago, believe it or not. Mm-hmm. Here's your question. What instrument did they find? And I will give you multiple choice. Was it a clapstick, cymbals, flute, or drums?
I'm going to say clapstick.
And that would not be the correct answer, Kevin.
Okay.
It was you want a second guess?
My second guess would have been a drum, but
you would also be wrong.
Well, I'm very wrong on this.
Very much so. It was a flute. Yeah.
Made from, did they say?
Made from a bird's bone, I think. Like the main bone of a bird. Certainly from a bone, anyway.
Interesting.
And in fact, some of the earliest instruments they've ever found in the history of humankind actually have been flutes, dating back 35,000 years ago, actually. And it had, there's a picture of it, actually, you can see. It's, it has holes in the flute and so on. Can you play the flute?
No, but I'd be really concerned if there was a flute with no holes in it.
that wouldn't be a flute. What am I?
I'm not a flautist, but from what I understand, it does require holes.
So, Kevin, did you attend many operas growing up in Newfoundland?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if I've ever been to the opera. Maybe once Catherine Ann made me go.
Well, I was going to say, I suppose since you've been living up on the mainland, you've been to an opera. I'm sure you have.
If I have, it's been reluctant.
Well, here would be my follow-up to that. Then would be you haven't been to any operas here in Newfoundland. Neither have I, actually. Do you know many Newfoundland opera singers?
No, I can't say I do. So if you got questions on that, I'm in big trouble.
Well, I'll be a little bit easy on you on this one. But one of the earliest, most famous opera singers here in Newfoundland was a lady by the name of Georgina Sterling. She was from Twillingate. And this is all the way back in the late 1800s. She, in 1888, at the age of 21, she actually went to Paris to do voice lessons. And then from there went on to a career singing opera. And at one point, she was described as the greatest dramatic soprano in the world. From 1890 to 1897, she performed, in all the major venues, Milan, Paris, and in America. Here's my question for you on Georgina Sterling. She had a stage name. What was her stage name? Here are the four choices. Yeah. Was it Madame Georginio, Maria Tulingwe, Maria Terraneuve, or Dame Notre?
B.
And you would be right, because, of course, she was from?
Twillingate.
Yeah, so Maria Tulingwe. So I would imagine that's a French variation, perhaps, of Twillingate, I guess.
Well, not interesting. I thought the third one was particularly Darryl-like.
Maria Terraneuve.
Yeah.
So in the 1900s, unfortunately, she developed a serious throat ailment and her voice was never really the same. She ended up coming home in 1929 and died in 1935. But there you go. Yeah, we had a famous opera singer. Now we've got famous opera singers today as well. And one particular gentleman by the name of David Pomeroy is quite well known in opera circles and has had a pretty well-known international career, and there are others, of course.
Well, what I want to know is, I mean, I'm not there in Newfoundland right now, but you are, and you get up to the brewery very often. Have they had any opera singers on a Friday night up there?
Not yet, but what a wonderful addition that would be. If I were to ask you what would be the most well-known traditional Newfoundland song, serious song about fishing in Newfoundland, what would you pick?
Cape St. Mary's.
Yeah, so would I.
Would we be wrong?
No, you'd be right.
Oh, okay.
It's the one I was thinking of anyway. Now, I mean, of course, there's no such thing as the most famous Newfoundland song.
No,
I mean, that's a matter of debate.
Yeah.
Have you ever sung "Let Me Fish Off Cape St. Mary's" in public?
I have.
You have?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
And I bet you might be surprised to know that I did too.
Did you really? Where did you sing it? I am surprised, actually.
Yeah, well, I didn't sing it very well.
Okay. Well, I never said it.
Neither
did I, by the way. But
probably one of the most embarrassing moments when I was in grade 9. I told you about an embarrassing moment in grade 6 the last time.
Yeah.
This was in grade 9 for some strange reason, probably because I wanted to get some attention. I told the teacher that I would sing this particular song to the class, and so I did sing it, but very, very poorly, and everybody got a bit of a kick out of it, except me, of course.
Well, in the end, you got what you needed: attention.
I did get attention, however, not good attention, but I got attention.
Not a kind you wanted, but yeah, I mean,
I get it. So you're gonna do well on these couple of questions I got on it then.
Okay.
First one's easy, and it should be if you sang the song, and that would be
okay.
Who wrote it?
I
can give you four choices.
Give me the 4 choices.
Otto Kellen, Harry Martin, Art Scammell, or Gerald S. Doyle.
No, it's Art Scammell.
So Art Scammell is a well-known Newfoundland writer of song. He actually wrote Squid Jigging Ground.
Otto Kellen wrote Cape St. Mary's.
He did. He did.
It was going to be 1 to 2.
He wrote it a long time ago, 1947, after speaking with a sailor. He himself was not a sailor. Interestingly, he had nothing to do with fishery, I don't think. He worked as a police officer for the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary. And he actually served as warden and superintendent of Her Majesty's Penitentiary in St. John's. And he raised 10 children and lived to be just shy of his 100th birthday. So also,
man, people live a long time in Newfoundland, according to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. In the song itself, of course, you've sang the song, so you know it well. What are combers?
It's like breaking water.
Breaking water.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to come out with. They're breakers. They're like like,
well, they're here in Newfoundland, we call them waves. We call them waves.
Okay, yeah, but but I was thinking of like, yes, okay, fine, waves. I'll go with that.
Yeah, no, it's just waves.
Yeah, okay.
It's let me feel my dory lift to the broad Atlantic combers.
Combers, yes, the waves.
So yeah, how do you pronounce it? Combers?
I would say combers, but
combers. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure how that goes. All right, let's move from Otto Kellen, traditional Newfoundland, to rock and roll.
All right.
I know you like rock and roll.
I love a bit of rock and roll.
Did you know Newfoundland had rock and roll history?
Newfoundland got everything.
We do. Yeah. And this particular category shows it, actually.
I got one for you. I got one for you before you say anything else. Who was the first Newfoundlander to put their hat on Bruce Springsteen's head?
Oh, I know the answer to that question.
What's the answer?
The answer to that question is Robert George.
Yep. You saw it, didn't you? You saw it.
Standing right next to him.
So there'll be no buys on this one. We know that's correct.
He did. He put his hat on Bruce Springsteen's head, and Bruce wore it for the remainder of the song, actually.
He did too.
Great time. So getting back to rock and roll in Newfoundland, sadly, Bruce Springsteen is not a Newfoundlander. Wish he was, but he's not. But he can be an honorary Newfoundland Labradorian for sure.
Sure he can.
The Ducats. You ever hear tell the Ducats?
Heard it. Don't know it. But
so you have heard. Okay.
I have heard someone say the Ducats, yes.
Yeah. Here's a significant rock and roll band from the early days back in the 50s and 60s. They recorded released the first rock and roll 45 by a Newfoundlander, and they went apparently to Boston to record "Hey Woman" was the name of the song. They also were the second band to release a full-length album, rock and roll album, that is, in 1965. And apparently those albums, if you can get your hands on them, are real collectors' items. Yeah. The name of the album was nicknamed the Tartan album because the boys were wearing blazers, or Newfoundland tartan blazers. They formed in 1959 in their local area. They performed at a benefit concert for victim families of a maritime disaster that happened in 1958. Do you know what the disaster was that they were? And I guess that's a bit of a hint. They formed in Port aux Basques, so it was on that part of the island that they were located. What maritime disaster occurred that they were raising money for?
Are you giving me multiple guesses on this?
I am not. No, straight out. Big maritime disaster of the 1950s.
I would say
I can tell you. No, I can tell you Nova
I-
Scotia in particular.
yeah. No, I'm going to say this, the sinking of Caribou,
No, that would have been during the war.
not a Caribou.
So it would be the Spring Hill mine disaster.
Oh, no, I wouldn't have gotten that. No.
Yeah.
I was
1958, 75 miners tragically died. So they were at a concert, a benefit concert, raising money for the families. And they got together. The Ducats consisted of Louis Butch Skinner on lead guitar, Jim Crew on rhythm guitar, Bob Batiste on bass guitar, Joe Boulis on drums, and Winston Blackmore on vocals. How did they get their name? Was it the Ducats? Was it a wild species of cat, an automobile, a box of candy, or a nightclub in Port aux Basques?
How do you spell Ducats?
Ducats.
Let's just say it's a box of candy.
You know your candy. It is a box of candy. And Lou Skinner, a little while back, was interviewed, and he said they actually, being Newfoundlanders, he said they pronounced it wrong. The actual name was, the pronunciation was Ducats, apparently.
Oh,
but of course they called it the Ducats.
Yeah. Ducats.
One other little note on Lou Skinner, though, I thought was interesting. I saw this a little while back. It was great interview CBC did with him. He's a collector of guitars, actually.
Okay.
This gentleman.
Yeah.
And at one time, he actually sold a 1963 Gibson's J180 Everly Brothers signature guitar to one of the Beatles.
Come on. Really?
Which one? You don't need multiple guess on that one. Which Beatle did he sell his guitar to?
Well, I'll say Paul McCartney.
It was indeed. And I believe, could be wrong with this, but I think Lou Skinner is a left-handed guitarist as well. I'm not sure about that, but it's possible. I think this guitar might have been a left-handed guitar.
That makes sense.
And it would have been one of the few that were in existence. He sold it to Paul McCartney. Paul McCartney was doing a TV special, and I think you can actually see this TV special on YouTube now if you Google it. And $10,000 he got for the guitar. So moving from the Ducats all the way over here to back to traditional music a little bit. What about Harry Hibbs? You remember him?
Oh my gosh, the Caribou Club.
So where was Harry born? You know where in Newfoundland Harry Hibbs was born?
I can't say as I would. I'd have to make a guess if you gave me some choices.
I'll give you a few.
Okay.
Flat Rock, St. John's, Bell Island, or Corner Brook?
Bell Island.
Yeah, he was from Bell Island. And he left Bell Island, though, at the age of 20. And he left and he went to Toronto in 1962. And interestingly, although he played the accordion and so on, he did not perform, in front of groups of people and so on. Mm-hmm. But he had a tragic accident. He had an industrial accident where he crushed both of his legs and he couldn't work for a while. And he went out to this big Newfoundland dance out in Scarborough. And the boys that were there with him, they encouraged him to get up on stage to do a song. What would you think the song was when he did get up on stage?
Geez, let me think. Muscles in the Corner?
Well, Eyes the Boys.
Oh, they played Eyes the Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Eyes the Boy is a good one.
Eyes the Boys, yeah. Really following that, there was, and I think this gentleman might have been at this particular event, followed by the name of Ray Kent, who was also from Bell Island. He invited Harry to play at his Newfoundland club in Toronto, and I think you know the answer to the name of the club.
The Caribou Club.
It was called the Caribou Club. And he would go on to play there regularly and really became synonymous with this particular club. And, had a show, a local show. I think it was on CHCH TV, I believe. His first album actually was called Harry Hibbs at the Caribou
Club. Yeah.
Out of all of the songs that Harry recorded and sang, one particular song is considered by many to be his signature song. Which one would you pick? And now I can give you 4 choices, or you can do it right straight off cold.
Well, I'll let you give me the choices. I have a guess.
All right. So The Islander is one. Let Me Fish Off Cape St. Mary's, the Black Velvet Band, or St. John's Waltz.
Yeah, no, it's the Black Velvet Band.
It's the Black Velvet Band. Yeah.
Yeah.
He actually recorded 26 albums in his career. Several of those albums went gold. And sadly, though, he died young. 1989, he passed away of cancer, and I don't think he was quite 50 years old at the time. So quite a very successful career, but relatively short as well. Here's a guy I know you know well.
Okay.
I know this for a fact because I remember you spending a lot of time listening to this particular gentleman with our grandfather, Dick Nolan.
Dickie Nolan.
Do you know Dick Nolan?
Oh, yeah.
What would be his signature song?
Aunt Murder Sheep.
Yes, sir. You know that song well, don't you, boy?
I do, yeah. I do.
I bet you can sing that one
I
as
can
well.
sing that one word for word, beginning to end.
Now his other signature song was actually "Eyes the Boy" as well.
Yes, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the other one. Aunt Martha's Sheep, Dick Nolan. Do you know where it was recorded?
I don't.
No.
No, I don't.
Well, in 1985, April of 1985 to be exact, we did a tour of Memorial University prior to, last year of high school, when you go in and
Yeah.
do the tour of the place.
Yeah.
And we went to CHMR radio. And one of the things that the young fellows that were there at the time told us was that the studio there at CHMR radio was where Aunt Martha's Sheep was recorded.
Yes, boy. Go on, boy.
Wamba is right. And that's exactly where apparently now that's the old CHMR in the Thompson Student Center that doesn't really exist in its former form anymore. But do you know any of the other songs on that album?
Probably you got guesses for me or something, but I
No, I'm just wanted to see if you
I can't
knew any of them. Seems you spent so much time listening to the record with grandfather.
Grandfather used to drop the needle on that a lot, but I don't remember the other songs. I don't know.
You would have I said them. Goofy Newfie.
Oh yeah.
Hard Times.
Oh yeah.
Fisherman's Boy. Unemployment Song, Newfie Girl, Me Gloves and Me. Was it?
Oh, Me Gloves and Me Hand and Me Hat on one side. That was another one. That was another one grandfather liked a lot. Was Me Gloves and Me Hand and Me Hat on one side.
And the CN Bus.
The CN Bus. Yes, yeah.
So that album was called Fisherman's Boy. That was the name of the album. I'm sure you can see the
yes, yeah.
You can picture him standing out by the boat, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Off to the distance. Yeah. It actually sold in 3 months. It sold over 100,000 copies. Went platinum.
That's wicked.
It was, yeah. What country artist did Dick Nolan identify with most? First, early in his career, he was really considered, the Newfoundland version of this country artist, this country star.
You're not forthcoming with guesses.
No, you should know that. You're a big Dick Nolan
fan. I'm not a big Dick Nolan fan. Okay, Waylon Jennings.
And no,
Johnny
Cash.
Okay.
And if you think about it,
I suppose
his voice.
That's true.
Very similar, right? He's got his
deep baritone.
Yeah. Wonderful Grand Band.
Oh, I love the Wonderful Grand Band.
Weren't they something?
That was something. They were wonderful grand.
They were formed in 1978, long time ago.
Yep.
Well, actually, they were conceived before that. Do you know where they were conceived? In the Root Cellar. No, there was a show, a one-off show by CBC called The Root Cellar.
Root Cellar, yes. 1977.
It was a 6-part series produced by CBC. Some of it's on YouTube today. You can go and have a look. It's priceless material. Yeah. In fact, the one that I watched, the boys are on there. Actually, Kelly Russell is a member of the band at this particular point in time. He was the fiddle player. And Ron Hines and Glenn Simmons, the boys are there. They're just babies, right? They're just young fellas. Unbelievable. So it's worth having a look.
I'd look for it.
And of course, and the skits in this particular show was Greg Malone and Mary Walsh. Actually, it wasn't Tommy Sexton yet. He hadn't joined the group.
Probably too young. He was quite young for that crowd. He was the youngest of the lot.
Oh, okay, that could have been why,
yeah.
So in a couple of years later, of course, they put the TV show together. 1980, it started. That show went on to be one of the most popular. Well, really, at that time, it was the most popular show in Newfoundland television history, really. And of course, I'm sure you were old enough that we never missed it. It was just must-see TV and so on, right? How many episodes? I'll give you multiple choice. How many episodes do you think they made of the Wonderful Grand Band? So it's 12, 18, 32, or 40.
I will go with 32.
Good guess. Got to go a little higher, though.
So it is 40. Okay.
Yeah, so
because it was on for a few years, but
yeah, it was. Sadly, they didn't all survive. I don't think they were able to keep all of them, but they do have some. In fact, they put out a DVD, couple of DVD collections a couple of years ago, and we do have a few of them. If I challenge you to tell me the classic lineup, the TV show, the names of the band members, would you be able to give it a go?
I could give it a go. Okay, so Tommy Sexton and Greg Malone and Mary Walsh. Andy Jones, maybe. Not sure if he didn't wait till Cogcodo. But anyway, and then the singers would be, or like the musicians would be Ron Hines, Glenn Simmons, Sandy Morris, Boomer Stamp. Is there somebody I'm missing who played the fiddle? What was his name? Jamie
Jamie Schneider.
Snyder, that's it. Yeah. Yeah.
So we got Ron Hines, Sandy Morris, Ian Perry, Glenn Simmons, Jamie Schneider. Rocky Wiseman was actually, I think, the
original
drummer,
drummer, wasn't he? Yeah.
And then Paul Boomer Stamp, Greg Malone, Tommy Sexton. And yes, I think you were right about, I think Mary Walsh may have acted in there at times, but she wasn't a member of the band specifically. Kelly Russell was also a member in the early days as well, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they had a very successful album actually that they put out. Songs like Sonny's Dream, Susie, Dancing in the Street, the Babylon Mall.
Oh, the Babylon Mall, where you can dance all day to the music in the halls at the mall, at the Babylon Mall.
I mean, who can forget that, right? UIC, Standing in the Long Line.
UIC, waiting for your check.
And Hard Times, which kind of goes with that. So yeah, very successful band, very successful album, and some of those songs, of course, still very widely played today. So moving from Wonderful Grand Band to another very traditional and well-known Newfoundland band, Seminai.
Oh, Bud Davidge, Sim Savory, that was his name? Sim Savory, yeah.
Sim Savory from Bellorum, Bud Davidge, originally from Baden Nord, later lived in English Harbour West, down on the Canagra Peninsula, of course, a peninsula that I've become very familiar with over the last 30 years or so.
Yeah,
down on the south coast. Absolutely stunning scenery down in that part of the island. They played their first gig together, believe it or not, in 1977 in Bellorum, a fisherman's lodge called the Schooner Lounge, apparently. How much did they make in that first gig, Seminai? Was it $20, $50, $80, or $100? How much money did they put in their coffers?
1977?
1977, first time they ever played.
$20. I say they made $20.
That's exactly what? $10 each they got?
$10 each.
So in 1981, they put an album together, and the album was called Saltwater Cowboys. You remember that?
Yeah, I do. I had a cassette.
Saltwater Cowboys, great album, great songs. In Saltwater Cowboys, the song itself, Newfoundlander Goes Out West.
Yeah.
The song says, but everyone knows that they ain't going to stay. They'll always come back with what? What did they come back with?
Come back with. Everyone knows they ain't going to stay. They always come back, but they're up a long ways.
That's it.
Yeah.
They'll come back with their up a long ways.
Up a long ways, yeah.
Do you ever come back with your up a long ways when you
that's a question better asked to you than it is to me.
Right on. The other song, of course, that Bud and Sim were very well known for was, besides the Mummer song, of course, I'm not going to ask you a question on that, was The Loss of the Marion.
Oh, beautiful song.
Beautiful song.
Yeah.
And tells a story about a schooner that was lost at sea, and I think about 15 fishermen on the Marion who lost their life tragically.
Yeah.
What was the name of the skipper on the Marion?
Oh boy.
And again, you can either go.
No, you got to give me a choice here. I will know.
So was it Joe Skinner, Bob Vallis, Mac Miles, or Ike Jones?
Bob Vallis.
No, Bob wasn't the skipper. Oh. It was Ike Jones.
Ike Jones.
From Ike Jones was noted to fight, I think, is one of the.
That's what it says. Yes, I'm running the lyrics through my head, and I'm going, why did I not know this?
Yeah. Anyway, however, did you know this? Ike Jones, his real name was actually Isaac Skinner. They locals and so on, and in song and folklore, he's referred to as Ike Jones. I'm not sure what the Jones refers to, if maybe that's a family name or a middle name or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But apparently his actual name, if you look at the group of men who passed
Skinner.
away on that boat, Ike Jones is not there. Isaac Skinner is. Great Big Sea. You ever heard them? You ever been to concert to see Great Big Sea?
I've been to Great Big Sea. I went to 2 concerts, once earlier on, and I happened to see them in Windsor when I was living down there during their last, I think it was the second to last concert. As I think I feel like I remember we went to the concert, and a month later it was announced that they were done, and we were like, holy crap, are we ever glad we went when we did?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was lucky enough to see them several times here in Newfoundland. Some of the big concerts down in Grand Falls and over in Bay Roberts.
Yeah,
just absolutely fantastic live band for sure. Their name, Great Big Sea. Do you know where it comes from?
Yeah, it comes from a song, Great Big Sea, Hove in Long Beach. The name of the song is.
That's exactly what it is, isn't it? The actual Great Big Sea, Hove in Long Beach. Do you know what that refers to? What kind of event that was?
It was a tsunami.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Way back in like the 1700s, and earthquake struck Lisbon, Spain, apparently.
Yeah.
And and of course, like all tsunamis, the water went out, and then the water came back in, and it was a great big sea.
Yep.
You may not have known this though. Did you know that they had a name before Great Big Sea? Now, not to be confused with the fact that I think three of the gentlemen in the band had a band, right, that they called Rankin Street, I believe it was called.
Oh, I thought it was Rollins Cross, but
no, it's a different band.
Yeah, it was Rankin Street. Yeah.
But in the very early days, before they really, did very much, they had a name on themselves before they settled on Great Big Sea. Here's your four choices.
Okay.
Was it Best Kind, Right On, Wicked, or Yes By?
It might be Best Kind.
It certainly was Best Kind.
Yeah.
And they moved off of Best Kind to Great Big Sea when they were doing their first album, I think. And they were doing the song, and the song seemed to fit. The name seemed to fit. They liked they liked how it went. They liked the Wonderful Grand Band, apparently, according to Alan Doyle. And they liked the fact that it was WGB and GBS. And of course, the Wonderful Grand Band had a big influence on them. Yeah. So it all kind of fit. And glad they did choose that particular name, because it certainly works well. And certainly, no doubt, Great Big Sea is probably the most successful band in Newfoundland history. They've released 9 studio albums. Their debut album was Great Big Sea, of course. And they've had 4 platinum albums. And what album, I don't know if you know, what album was their top seller?
Ordinary Day.
I don't know if Ordinary Day is the album or a single, actually.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to remember the name of the album.
Yeah, it's Up.
Up is the name of the album. Yes. Yeah,
it's sold over 400,000 copies, so it's quite successful.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched Canadian Idol?
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, really popular here in Newfoundland.
Yeah. You fellows because of Rex Gowdy?
Rex Gowdy. And that's exactly. So what's Rex's nickname?
Sexy Rexy.
Sexy Rexy, yeah.
Yeah.
He was so Sexy Rexy, yeah. Rex Gowdy, he was the first really successful Newfoundlander, not the last, but one of the first ones. I actually found his trademark hat in some stuff that I was going through in the basement there a little while ago that my daughter had.
Okay.
What color was his trademark hat? Do you remember?
Oh, God, I don't know. Red?
No, it was white.
Okay.
An all white hat. And he appeared on Canadian Idol 3, actually, in 2005. Okay. Do you know where Rex is from in Newfoundland?
Rex is from where Sean Majumner is from.
So you're right about the fact that he's from the same town, actually, as Sean Majumber.
Burlington. Is that what I want to say? Burlington.
It's Burlington, yeah. Yes, yeah, Burlington. Produced 2 pretty big Newfoundland performers, for sure. He had a band as a young fella. It's called the Purple Monkey Bomb Squad.
That's a great name for a band, isn't it?
Well, I'll tell you. Do you know what place he finished in Canadian Idol?
3rd.
Finished 2nd.
Oh, he got the 2nd, didn't he? Okay.
Yeah. Melissa O'Neill was the winner.
Yeah.
Is he the only Newfoundland singer to come in 2nd place?
Well, I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, you would be right.
So
he came in 2nd. No Newfoundland singer has ever won Canadian Idol. So Rex Gowdy has the top spot, but there was one other Newfoundlander that also finished 2nd, and his name was Craig Sharp.
Yeah, from Island Cove. Yeah, Upper Island Cove.
From Island Cove, yeah. Do you know any other names of Newfoundlanders who were on Canadian Idol?
Maybe. I don't think so, though.
So Craig Sharp,
Jenny
Gear, also from Conception Bay North area, I think from Carbonear. Jason Greeley, also from Island Cove.
Jason Greeley. That was the other Island Cover, yeah.
Yeah, and Tara Oram. His debut album, actually, Under the Lights, it was called, actually sold over 100,000 copies. So he had a really
this is
successful career.
This is
Sexy Rexy. Yeah, sorry, I transitioned back to.
So so how many?
Over 100,000 copies. I got a chance to see him actually not that long ago. He actually performed at the Dildo Brewery there a few years back, and
awesome.
Needless to say, the place was packed. Right?
She was full, boys. It was everybody had to see Sexy Rexy.
A band that I know you know quite well, Buddy Wasisname and Other Fellers.
Oh yes, yeah, the boys.
This is going to be we're going to end with them. No better band to end with than
Can't be,
Buddy Wasisname and Other Fellers.
Yeah.
Lead singer, of course, or lead of the band, I suppose. I don't know if you can call him lead singer. Would be Kevin Blackmore.
Yeah.
Grew up in Gander. And early in his life, he actually wasn't with Buddy Wasisname and the other fellas. He actually teamed up with a fellow by the name of Chris Lorne Elliott, I believe his name is. I think Elliott was attending Memorial University at the time when they kind of got together. Do you know the name of this was a musical comedy duo that they had formed. Do you know what the name of the group was?
No.
So I'll give you 4 choices. It's Kevin and Lauren.
Yeah. Wasn't that.
Free Beer, Blackmore and Elliott, or DeBois?
I think it was Free Beer.
It was Free Beer.
Yeah.
But I'm sure if you went to see them, you wouldn't get Free Beer. But
no.
They were Free Beer. They put out an album together, and they did their thing for a while. Kevin eventually moved, I think, to the Glovertown area.
Right.
And when he went to Glovertown, he met up with the other 2 gentlemen in the band, Ray Johnson and Wayne
Chalky.
What careers were Wayne and Ray working at when they met?
I believe Wayne and Ray were both teachers.
They were indeed both teachers. But you got to love Buddy Wasisname and other fellows. I don't know if there's many people in Newfoundland that haven't enjoyed, certainly been to their concerts and enjoyed their music for sure.
Phenomenal group, and they've certainly brought a lot of joy to folks like us who are living away. I've seen them now 2 or 3 times up here on the mainland and look forward to certainly seeing them again. Now, listen, you've put me through my ropes, Darryl, and it's time now to turn the tables and ask you some questions. It's time for our regular segment, World Famous in Newfoundland. World Famous in Newfoundland is brought to you by Crooked Arse Creations. Crooked Arse Creations, some of it you'll like, some of it you won't, whatever. We're very pleased for this segment of World Famous in Newfoundland to bring someone who really does not need any introduction. From the NTV Evening News Hour, we welcome Toni-Marie Wiseman, world famous in Newfoundland. I'd say she's world famous everywhere because what is it? North America's #1 broadcaster, NTV.
We are Canada's superstation.
Canada's
NTV.
superstation. Right.
Yes.
Perfect. See, you know, I got to bring it in by satellite in London, Ontario, but I do manage to get to see you. So that's how I keep up on Newfoundland news. But thank you very much for joining us.
It is my pleasure. I've listened to a few of your podcasts and they're pretty interesting. I'm a little nervous though. I have to say, I'm not sure what you're going to throw at me, but I hope you're gentle.
We try not to throw things around here. Okay.
Okay.
So Toni-Marie, I'm wondering if I could turn the tables on you a little bit and take an opportunity to ask you a question for a change, rather than you asking the questions as a journalist.
Okay. Yes.
So here's my question for you. Who would be the most interesting person that you've met or interviewed during your broadcasting career?
You know that I've been in broadcasting for 32 years, right?
Ooh, wow. She started, folks. She started when she was 10.
I did. Yes. So I have met a lot of people. I've met Meatloaf, great guy. Wow. Yeah.
I've eaten a lot of meatloaf, if that's worth anything.
Yeah, as have I. Yeah. Jane Sibbery, all these people. But I would say maybe the most interesting person I've met was Ravine, the man they call Ravine.
The man they call Ravine. Yeah.
I remember I met him, could be 20 years ago, the first time. And he was so warm and so lovely. And if you've ever had the pleasure of meeting Gordon Pinsent and being in his aura and how generous and warm and lovely he is, Ravine, they could be personality twins. They're both very kind and generous. And I remember Ravine was telling me that if I ever got married and had a baby, to let him know, because he would give me a tape of hypnosis for me to use while I was in labor. I didn't take him up on that.
Now that is a story.
That would be a story. Yes. Interesting story. The many years, 5 years, I guess, before I was born, my mother saw Ravine for the first time, and she was pregnant with my brother, who's now 60 at the time. And so that's, that's how long ago he was around. Yeah. But he was a really, really interesting man, really kind man. He was lovely. Every time he came to town, I tried to go see him, even though I made sure I never power of suggestion. So I would,
Yes.
when he says, turn the lights down in the room, and then, you see all these things, and he's kind of speaking to you now, put your hands together. I would hold my hands as far away from each other as possible, because I never wanted to have to go up on that stage.
Yeah.
I think he would have had me hook, line, and sinker had I let him. Definitely.
Yeah, and I think his one of his performance suits are in the Arts and Culture Center now, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah, on display.
Yeah, a
in
big
the
red
lobby.
suit.
All right. Well, Darryl, we got a contest to fulfill. Can you help us out with that?
So thank you, Toni-Marie, for that. Appreciate your answer. Very interesting.
Mhm.
Yes, we have a contest that we did the last time. This segment, of course, is, as Kevin mentioned, is sponsored by Crooked Arts Creations. And as such, we're going to give away a Jesus, Mary, and Joseph t-shirt
Yes, sir.
to the lucky winner.
Yep.
So, Toni-Marie, I wonder if you could help us out with this. The question, I'm going to get you to now in a moment to pick a number between 1 and 25. And whoever's number comes up, I guess Kevin will announce the winner shortly.
Yep.
The question was, how did Chris Andrews respond to Kevin when he called Chris the star of Logie Bay?
And Darryl, the
And
answer
the-
was?
And the answer was more like the disaster of Logie Bay.
That's what he said.
So thank you, everybody, for playing.
Yep.
And one of you are going to be the lucky owners of the Jesus, Mary, and Joseph t-shirt. So, Toni-Marie, if you could pick a number between 1 and 25.
13.
Oh,
Lucky 13.
Lucky number 13 is Suzanne House.
Oh,
And,
Congratulations,
Suzanne.
Suzanne.
Faithful listener from Central Newfoundland.
That's right. Yep. All right. Well, let's have a contest. I know you've been studying hard, Toni-Marie, and that you want to get ready for all of this. So we're going to do a coin toss. We got, let me go through the categories, okay? And then you get to pick the first
Okay.
category. So the categories are walking trails. Do you do any hiking out around the bay or what?
No,
No. Okay. So walking trails.
but I am
Okay.
familiar.
You're familiar with
Okay.
you're familiar with the trails.
I'm familiar with walking.
Okay, good. All right, so you'll be good. The other next category is who said it. So who said it is quotes, and you get to pick who said it. The pitcher plant, our provincial flower in Newfoundland and Labrador, the pitcher plant.
Yes.
Okay. The
That's
big
its own category.
that's its own category. You each get one
I
question.
did not study enough.
Oh no, you'll be fine. The big land, or as we call, as the rest of the world calls it, Labrador, we call it the big land.
The big land. Yep.
And then the last category is TV and radio. You might be familiar with some of that.
Maybe.
Okay.
Toni-Marie, I don't know about you, but I'm a bit nervous. What you probably don't know about Kevin. Kevin is a preacher, but he was a teacher before he became a preacher. He was trained as a teacher.
Yes.
And if he were a teacher, given the way he comes up with these categories and questions, I would not want him as my teacher.
Okay. So, Toni-Marie, heads or tails?
Heads.
Heads it is. You get to pick the first category.
Okay. Daryl. I heard Darryl. Daryl says that he doesn't know the answer to these questions. He's very smart.
He is very smart. Yeah.
I've heard him. He wins every time.
Yeah.
I would like to try who said it. I just think
Who
it
said
would be
it?
fun, even if
Okay.
I don't get any of the answers.
Now you each get a question, and
Mhm.
if you get it wrong, the other person gets to try to answer. Okay. So Toni-Marie, to you first, because you called it. Okay. So who said this? Okay. Listen closely. If you are feeling depressed, go to Toronto for 24 hours and see what's happening there. You'll come back feeling much better about yourself, about your province, and about the opportunities that exist.
Mr. Harry Steele.
That is absolutely correct. 2 points for Toni-Marie. Darryl, you're in trouble.
I am, because I did not know that question at all.
No, to be fair to Daryl, as your listeners may or may not know, Mr. Steele passed away a few weeks ago,
Yes, he did.
and we compiled an obituary for him, and that quote was in it. So
Yeah.
I heard that
Okay.
fairly recently.
Okay. So, and Harry Steele was a giant in business in Newfoundland and Labrador, and has contributed much to our province. And our best go out to his family and friends and all who mourn his death at this time. I would not. You just said a minute ago, Toni-Marie. To be fair to Darryl, I don't know that we need to be fair to Darryl.
Kevin doesn't want to be fair to me for all the
No.
times that I was not fair to him growing
So
up. Right?
yeah, I'm the youngest. I took my lumps. Now I can give some back. So here we go. Here's Darryl's.
Okay.
Darryl, who said this, Darryl? And to listen closely, Toni-Marie, because if he doesn't get it right, it's coming back to you for 1 point. I have a personal connection to this region, and I care about this region, not just because, people talk about strategy. It's not about strategy. For me, it's about a place I'm close to. And so the issues that matter to folks in this region are issues I'm going to hold near and dear to my heart.
Whoa. So there's no multiple choice.
No.
And this is like all the people that have ever lived.
Yep. Everybody
Possible
that's
answer.
ever got a connection to Newfoundland.
I'm going to go out on a limb on this one. I'm going to say it's Justin Trudeau.
Oh, that's too bad. Over to Toni-Marie. Do you know who said that, Toni-Marie?
I think Jerry Byrne.
Oh, both good guesses, both wrong. Jugmeet Singh said that.
Yes.
Jugmeet, of course, lived, he learned how to, unless this was going to be a follow-up question.
No follow-ups.
Jugmeet lived on, I think it was Waterford Bridge Road. I could be
Mhm.
wrong. He lived in St. John's for a period of time till he was about 6 years old, and he learned to ride a bicycle on the streets of St. John's.
There you go.
Wow.
True story. Yep. Okay, so Darryl, you get to pick the next category. So you, sir, are now behind 2-0.
Do I get to pick now?
Yes, sir. Mr.
I
George.
I did get that it was one of the national leaders.
You did. You were on the right track.
You did.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had to score any little point here I can.
Yeah.
So I love hiking actually
Okay.
and walking trails. So I'm going to
Yeah.
pick that one because
All right.
Okay.
quite a number
Okay.
of them.
All right. So the Darryl question in this category is there are 2 well-known walking trails in Terra Nova National Park. Ochre Pit Trail is one of them. What's the other one called, Darryl? And I'll give you multiple guess on this one.
Okay, thank you.
As my university professor many years ago said, I'll give you multiple guess. Josephus was a Jewish historian, a dog, a cat, or a sheep. Those are not the answers here. However, here's your multiple guess.
Now I'm just going to, before you start, I'm just going to
Yeah.
let you know that I have walked only one trail in Terra Nova National Park.
Oh, well, now if you get this, that'll
So I
be
hope it's the
really-
one that you're going to.
Okay, so I'm going to give you 4. Rabbit Run, A. B. Gooity Path, C. Fox Loop Trail, or D. Birch Brook.
That's neither one of those I've walked on. But I'm going to say the Fox.
Fox Loop Trail?
Yeah.
That's wrong, Darryl. It's the Gooity Path.
Jeez.
It's
The
the,
Gooity Path.
it's the
That
Gooity
one was
Path.
too wet, That one was too wet for me to go on.
All right, that's 0 for Darryl in this round. That's good. Toni-Marie.
You see a pattern here,
Yes.
Toni-Marie?
Toni-Marie.
I do.
Center Hill Wilderness Trail will bring you high above the land at 345 meters elevation. It's the highest peak overlooking what peninsula?
Oh,
What do you think? Just pick a peninsula.
Northern Peninsula.
No, that's not it. So I got to give Darryl a chance now.
That's not that easy because it's-
Center
I've-
Hill
I've-
Wilderness
I've-
Trail.
Well,
I've been-
Center Hill. I should have
Yeah.
thought about that.
So I've been on Center Hill twice, Kevin. But what peninsula? The Bonavista Peninsula?
It's the Avalon Peninsula.
Really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't think it was even on
Oh.
the Avalon, but anyway.
Well, okay. Well, it's on the isthmus, is it not? Isn't it
Yes,
across the
it's on
bay?
it's on the
across,
isthmus of Avalon. Yeah.
It's across the bay from us, and you go up there
Okay.
and you overlook.
I don't know where the border is coming into the Avalon. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
There's no border check there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Toni-Marie, you get to pick the next category. We got left the pitcher
Okay.
plant, the big land, and TV and radio.
Goodness. Can I just flip a coin?
Yeah.
Pitcher plant.
All right. Let's take it on head first. You get a
I know
multiple.
nothing.
You get a multiple guess for this one, though, Toni-Marie.
Okay.
So this is good. As you know, the pitcher plant is a carnivorous wetland plant whose leaves collect rainwater because it's shaped like a pitcher.
Right.
The plant gets its nutrients from digested insects and spiders that drown
Yes.
in the water, unable to escape. How many % of the insects that visit the pitcher plant become victims and thus become food for the plant? How many percent? Now I'm going to give you a choice. Hang on. I got to give you a choice. Is it 1%, 5%, 10%, or 40%?
40%.
Oh, no. Over to Darryl.
So I told you these questions.
Listen, hold on a second. Let's everybody calm down here. Toni-Marie is in the lead. These are things Newfoundlanders should know.
I'm going to say 1%.
You're right, Darryl. It is 1% to
Hey.
move into a tie. I think Darryl made a wild guess.
Neck and neck.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking with the answers, you either go big or go,
That's
the
right.
biggest number or the tiniest number.
All right. So, Darryl, over to you now on the pitcher plant. This is your question. The pitcher plant is Newfoundland and Labrador's provincial flower, as everybody knows. In 1954, it was designated by the province as the official floral emblem. 1954. But its history as a symbol in Newfoundland predates provincial history, of course, going back before Confederation. Who was responsible for associating the pitcher plant with Newfoundland and Labrador?
Oh, that's also a pretty good question there.
Yeah, I would give, if you beg me, I'll give you multiple.
No, I'm going to try this one
All right, let's hear what you
right
got.
off the top.
He
Out of
knows he's
all
confident.
So again, out of all the people that have ever existed, I have to choose from, right?
Yep.
All right. And this question is not a trap, is it?
No, there's no trap here. It's not like a pitcher plant.
Okay.
Sure. Who was it?
So the guy I'm thinking of is a fellow who, kind of really liked it here while he was here.
Yeah.
And his name was, he was a governor of Newfoundland. His name was Sir Cavendish Boyle.
Oh, no.
No, it's not Sir Cavendish Boyle.
No, we're going to go over to Toni-Marie. Do you want multiple guesses, Toni-Marie?
Yes, sure.
Okay, all right. Darryl was stupid enough not to take it. I'll give you a few guesses. Was
You
it?
had multiple choice on that one?
I asked you if you wanted multiple guesses. I did, didn't I,
see.
Toni-Marie?
Yes, he did. He
Yeah.
did.
Like always, I wasn't listening again.
Well, there you go. So you get to choose between Queen Elizabeth, Queen Victoria, Richard Squires, or William Valence Whiteway. Somebody very important.
I would say one of the queens, Queen Victoria.
That will be correct, because it was in Queen Victoria's day that the pitcher plant was actually on the Newfoundland penny, which is how it sort of really came into prominence. And she was the one who chose what would go on the penny.
Really?
So, yeah.
Yes, I would just think the queen would have noticed plants and flowers.
All right,
No, it's,
Darryl, what you got left is, well, we got the first page done. So the big land and TV and radio.
Well, I'm afraid to go with TV and radio, so I'm going to go with the big land. I'm going
The
to leave
big
that one,
land.
Tony, for Toni-Marie at the end.
Great.
Okay. All right. The Aboriginal people of Labrador, peoples of Labrador, include the Northern Inuit and Southern Inuit and the Innu. So what is the indigenous population of Labrador? And I'll give you multiple guess again. Okay.
Please.
So 11%, 22%, 33%, or 44%
Oh, of the total population.
of the total population of the big land.
What's B?
22%.
I'll go with that.
And you will be correct. It is 22%. Well done, Mr.
Oh.
George. Way to go, teacher. 2 points for
Thank you.
Darryl. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Over to Toni-Marie. Oh,
Okay.
dear. Don't sound so exasperated. Okay. The name Torngat, we were familiar with Torngat Mountains, right? We are in
Correct.
Labrador. Name Torngat is derived from an Inuktitut word, meaning what? And I'm going to give you multiple guess. Okay.
Mhm.
Does it mean high and lofty? Does it mean majestic? Or does it mean place of spirits?
See, the obvious, you would obviously go to place of spirits, indigenous culture.
Mhm.
I will choose the wrong answer. Spirits.
Yes.
And
It's the place of spirits. Well done, Toni-Marie. Okay, so that takes us down to our last category, which for some reason was the last one asked, which I'm surprised since we have a broadcast journalist on here with over 30 years of on-air experience. We didn't get to this category sooner. So Toni-Marie's is the first question here.
oh no.
It's a bit of a lengthy
I
question.
mean, yay.
It's a bit of a it's a bit of a lengthy question, but I trust that you will know the answer. Okay.
Oh, no pressure then.
No. In speaking of a
Hmm.
long career in broadcasting news, which Newfoundland broadcast legend said this? The way I look at things, there are two words that should guide your life: perspective and gratitude. I look at our lives and we have it pretty good. We don't live in a war-torn country. We're not starving. We are able to go out and support our families. So put that into perspective and then be grateful for what you have. I've never felt entitled to anything. I've always worked hard, and I appreciate everything I've gotten from that hard work. I'm very lucky. I've had a wonderful life, and work has taught me to see the big picture. Now, I'll give you multiple guesses. A, Fred Hutton. B, Mike Critch. C, Lynn Burry. D, Debbie Cooper.
I think Debbie Cooper.
No, it wasn't Debbie Cooper.
Really?
Really? No, it wasn't. Darryl, what do you think?
Yeah, I was
But I worked with the other two, and
I
I don't
know.
remember them saying anything like that.
That's what kills me. Now,
I guess I didn't pay attention to them enough.
Darryl,
maybe.
which
I
one
don't
of
know.
the other two do you think it is?
Yeah, well, I was thinking of that it was either Debbie Cooper or Lynn Burry, because I just felt that it was something either one of those two would say, really.
Mm.
And so it would have to be Lynn Burry.
It was Lynn Burry in a this comes out of an interview she did with the Herald.
What? I guess I didn't read that issue. Wow.
So,
But yeah, I mean, the two of them were just two icons
Icons,
really, and
and
both retired roughly around the same time, didn't they?
now,
just weeks apart, and
Oh,
both
really? Yeah.
very elegant, very, very classy
yeah,
women, very
Now-
respected, very dignified women. Yeah.
Darryl gets a question in this too, doesn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
After 40 years in the broadcast business, TV's Glenn Carter recently announced his retirement. Another
Mhm.
TV legend in Newfoundland. That's Debbie Cooper, Lynn Burry, Glenn Carter. My goodness. Which of the following cities did Glenn not work in during his storied career? Okay, Darryl, which one did he not work in?
Okay.
Halifax, Ottawa, Calgary, Victoria.
This would be a straight up guess. I think he did work in Halifax, I believe. Okay, I'm going to go with Ottawa.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't be right. So Toni-Marie gets the steal on this one. Which of these cities did he not work in? Halifax, Ottawa, Calgary, or Victoria?
I need to know. I know that he worked in Ottawa and Calgary,
Yes.
because he was working in Calgary just before he came back to
Right.
NTV. So I guess he did not work in Victoria.
You are absolutely correct. He did not work in Victoria at any point in his 40-year career. He did not work in Victoria. But again, let me say to Glenn Carter how much we appreciate everything he's done in broadcast journalism in Newfoundland over the years, and certainly across the country. So another great legend going. So that means, Toni-Marie, everything news in Newfoundland and Labrador is left to you.
Mhm.
It's all on your
Anyone has
shoulders.
left me.
Yeah, it's
I'm
you now.
the last person standing. Fred is gone. Lynn, Debbie
Yeah.
Cooper.
Yeah.
Glenn Carter, no pressure.
No pressure. I mean, even David Cochran took off to Ottawa. So
That is true.
So it's you now, and it couldn't be in more capable hands.
Thank you.
Thank you for being with us. We really appreciate
Thank
you
you.
making the time.
It's been a lot of fun. Well,
And-
thank you guys so much for the opportunity. I've had a lot of fun, and
Well,
it was great.
What a great thrill it is to have Toni-Marie Wiseman on our little podcast here. She's brilliant as always. What do you think, Darryl?
Man, she was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. It was great having her on. Thank her so much for coming on. Can't believe that she actually agreed to come on with us. But
Yeah, listen to it. Spend any time with us two fools.
so, Kevin, you know what time it is?
Oh, I think I'm fearful of what time it is because we're getting near the end. I think I know what's coming next.
It is time for the lightning round.
Oh,
This is all about performers, Newfoundland, all about songs and performers and that sort of thing.
okay. Any special rules before I go into this one tonight?
Try to get them right.
Okay. All right. Good. Bring it. Start the timer.
Gray Foggy Day. Who wrote and performed it?
Roy Payne.
Eddie Coffey.
Eddie Coffey.
What Newfoundland musician was in both the Wonderful Grand Band and the Fables?
Glenn Simmons.
You got it. From Greens Harbor.
Yeah, Greens Harbor. Good shout out to Greens Harbor.
The Little Boats of Newfoundland. Who wrote and performed that one?
Oh, A. Frank Willis.
Roy Payne.
Oh, I should have gone with Roy Payne that time.
A folk singer by the name of Jim Payne.
Yes.
Not to be confused with Roy Payne. He's the writer of the song Wave Over Wave.
Yep.
He's from what Newfoundland town?
Pilley's Island.
Indeed he is, the home of our mother. Did Harry Hibbs write Between Two Trees?
No.
No, he did not. It was an American song written back in 1951.
Yeah.
In the song Bogged Down in the Valley-O, where was the tree?
All right. I don't get that much time with the clock ticking. Tree in the bog?
No, it was in a hole. What is the actual name of the song We'll Rant and We'll Roar?
I know this. We'll rant and we'll roar.
Time's up.
True Newfoundlander? No.
No, Ryan's
Ryan's
and
and the Pitmans. Yes.
In Sonny's Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Has Sonny ever been to town?
No.
No, it's 100 miles to town.
It's 100 miles of town. He's never been there.
What band wrote and recorded Music and Friends?
Seminai.
Sure did. Did A. Frank Willis write I'm My Own Grandpa?
No.
He did not. Also an American song. Speaking of A. Frank Willis, he did write Grandpa Loves His Motorboat.
Yes.
Whose picture does Grandpa have hanging on his wall?
The Queen?
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts. Yes. Got a picture of Oral Roberts hanging right on his wall.
You're right on. You did good on those.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be harder than that. I thought they were going to be hard for you, but no.
Well,
you know your performers.
There's a couple of them I should have
earlier,
gotten.
and
I know the
right.
I know the Ryans and the Pitmans. I couldn't pull it out of my atrophied brain. Anyway, so that was a great episode. Enjoyed all the information about performers. Love the fact that we had to do 2 episodes to get all your research into one.
you get going on the research, boy, and you can't stop.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. So we're grateful to Toni-Marie for coming on today, and grateful to Crooked Arts Creations for sponsoring that segment, and grateful, of course, to the Dildo Brewing Company Museum in beautiful downtown Dildo for all that they do for us as a sponsor. We're thankful to everyone who brings this podcast out to you. We look forward to seeing you the next time. And until then, I guess there's nothing else to say, Darryl, except
Go on by.